In the previous lesson, we looked at using string resources, and we coded each button to display a string resource in a text box. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to set up your project so that all the buttons share the same event handler to access the different string resources associated with each button, but to also streamline that code using string methods so that we write just a very small amount of code. I added a new resource file called Hustedde resources, and in it I placed strings for the text that will occur on the right-hand side of my application when we click each of the buttons for the different nations. And the names of these string resources are info underscore and the name of the country, all in lowercase. And each of these is fairly lengthy. I also added in images for the different maps that will be displayed on the left-hand side in the picture box. And these I named map underscore and the name of the nation in lowercase. My application has a picture box named pick map, a label called LBL nation, and another label called LBL info. And then all the buttons at the bottom here use an image list called IMG flags, and then the various index numbers that show the flag for the particular button. The buttons are named BTN overview, BTN Austria, BTN Belgium, BTN France, and so forth. So BTN and the name of the nation. All the buttons share the same event handler. Let's look at the code. In the event handler, I'm creating a string variable called nation. It's going to equal the sender, that's the button that was clicked. I'm going to get the name of that button and use the substring method to strip out the BTN by specifying index 3 in the substring. BTN Austria would become just Austria. BTN Germany would become Germany as far as the name of the nation. Then I'm going to set lblnation.text to that nation value. To display the different resources, all I'm doing here is using a select case on nation. And so if it's Austria, we're going to display map underscore Austria in the picture box and info underscore Austria string resource in the LBL info text property. That's a simple way of doing this. And this works. But I want to show you another way we can do this with far less code. And here's my alternative. Much less code. I'm still going to get nation as a string from the name of the button. I'm going to set that into lblnation.text. Then I'm going to take map as an image variable or an image object, and it's going to equal my resources.hustedde resources.resource manager. Now the resource manager has some methods in it that are really helpful. And the first one here is get object. And I can specify the object that I'm looking for by its name. And inside the parentheses for that, I can use string interpolation. So I have a $sign, and then in quotes, map underscore, and in curly brackets, nation.toLower. Remember, I want the lower case of the word Austria or Germany or France. So nation.toLower. So I'm going to use the string method to make that lower case. And if I clicked on the Austria button, this now becomes map underscore Austria. I'm going to do the same thing for the string resource, creating info as a string variable. It's going to equal my resources.hustedde resources.resource manager. Here, though, rather than get object, I use get string and do the same type of interpolation. Rather than map underscore, we use info underscore. That gives me the image and the text from the string resource. And then all I can do is set pickmap.image equals map and lblinfo.text equals info. This would work if I had 100 buttons for the different nations. No additional code. I would just need to add in more resources. Let's make sure this works. And click Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and Switzerland. And back to overview. Part of becoming a good programmer is learning shortcuts and learning how to refactor your code to do things more efficiently. That all comes with experience and more knowledge. I hope you enjoyed this little trick, and I want you to think about how you lay things out to make things more efficient. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Programming Practicum playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos I create, you can click my picture in the top right to subscribe to the channel.